When deep sleep falls on you, there's a world of dreams waiting to be unwrapped. It's a puzzle waiting to be solved, a dream unfolding, a parable of the night.
Join us on a journey to unwrap the mysterious messages found in divinely inspired dreams. This is Dreams Unwrapped.
This is Dreams Unwrapped, and I'm Tina Winters. Let's welcome today's dream people. There's Chaos Breaker, Mover Shaker, Sebastian Song.
Howdy.
Then there's Have a Heyday at the Lake, catching some tuna, hallelujah, Thomas Schwabe.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
And there's No Pearls on Swines, it must be divine, Faith Frankenfield.
Hi.
Today we want to welcome our guest to the show. Her name is Christy Dena.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Christy. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Christy Dena, and I am joining you from the land known as Melbourne, Australia, but is actually the unceded land of the Wurrung people. I am a creative. I work in mainly interactive projects, but I'm a multi-art form creator, and I make interactive projects that seek to create the kind of world that I'd like to be in. In terms of my relationship with dreams, that has been throughout for as long as I can remember. I was always thinking about and interpreting my dreams. My mum, if she was still alive, we would still be ringing up each other and talking about our dreams. We used to come together every Saturday morning and spend a few hours basically sort of discussing the amazing dreams and the symbols of them, what they meant. You know, I've got lots of books on dream interpretation, but over time it was very much more about what I feel it means, and seeing what messages resonate, you know, from there.
Yeah.
And I guess a quick audio description of myself for those who are blind or sight impaired or just can't see the screen. I've got light brown long hair. I'm wearing an electric blue shirt, and behind me are some bookcases where all my books are ordered like a vertical rainbow. Hi.
So, Christy, did you want to tell us about the dream that we are going to work on today?
Yes. So I had it a few months ago, but it stayed with me. I was moving into a new apartment, which has been a recurring thing in my dreams of like homes and a new place or an old place. But it was quite really small, tiny sort of little corridors and little stairs here and there, like a tiny Escher apartment, if you like. And that's what it sort of felt like, but it didn't feel uncomfortable. I think that's just the way that it looked. And in one area there were these two big windows coming together, overlooking outside. So it was sort of a couch sitting area that you can look out. And when I looked out, it was looking out over a huge sort of parkland area, but it wasn't a green park. It was red sort of soil and a whole lot of trees that were very bulbous in their base. Quite big old trees and quite bulbous in their base, and a lot of them there. And it wasn't dark, but it wasn't quite bright light, so it had this beautiful sort of look to it. And I thought at the time, oh, they're birthing trees, which I can talk about when we're analysing where I think that came from. But there's also, and when I looked to the left of that, there was a huge like an electrical tower, like a radio tower. There wasn't a dish or anything like that, but there was just a big metal tower. It was quite large, and I think I thought of it as like a communication thing, like an electric communication I remember seeing that, and then I remember the next moment of sort of being in a car just to the right of this parkland area and trying to get somewhere, but there was a whole lot of people in the car. And whenever I'm in a car, it's like I'm not sure if I'm driving or if I'm a passenger, or it keeps shifting. But unfortunately, that's all I remember. So yeah, so that's the crux of it.
There's does I feel like the main like part of dream is that that you're in transition a lot, and that that you have what do you call it, a divine vision to oversee, to maybe find and maybe what do you call it, nurture leaders, and that it's about how you have the ability, and that you have the ability to also lead and not lead when necessary, that you're comfortable enough that you know when someone is ready, that you're going to let them have the wheel, or when you need it, you'll take the wheel yourself. Like you have this comfortable, that you have a good mentoring like ability. Yeah.
That resonates. Yeah, thank you.
I agreed with Sebastian. I saw that you had some transitions in your life, and that this next transition might be a little bit more, it's going to allow you to go deeper. It might not be as broad, and it could possibly have to do with your influence not being as broad, but it could be deeper influence. You're growing in your spiritual life, and so there's opportunity to grow and advance even to higher spiritual levels. And the green gardens that you have a view of is expanding your vision for future growth. So your vision and your desires are being expanded, and it's being expanded to birth new things into your destiny. I feel like the birthing trees are significant, really significant. They are, I feel like it's you kind of taking a look at all of these options and destinies and purposes that you could have. And I think that the ground is wisdom, and it's the wisdom being kind of giving the nutrients to the trees for your destiny. And these birthing trees that you're seeing are also other people around you. And it's kind of got a sense of you looking at different people and trying to decide, do I want, not that you want everything to be like them, but wondering if seeing aspects of their lives or aspects of what they're doing that because they might be mentors or people that have influenced you, you're looking at them wondering, is this something that interests me? Is this a direction that I would go in? Are these things that they're doing similar to things that I would want to do? But it is interesting that they were muted a little bit, because they're not exactly what you're created to do. So even though you're seeing them, they're not the exact replica of your gift mix and who you are and what you've been given. But they have bits and pieces of things that you might learn, and ways that you'll learn from that are going to help advance you.
I think one of the things is quickly with what you're saying, because a lot of that resonated, is also, it's like, I'm not the only one, that awareness of I'm not the only one, as well. Yeah.
Christy, there's another thing that I was really drawn to in a dream, and regarding your life and your destiny as well. But it seems like too, because the transitions you've gone through in life, and having dreams of moving into new places and dreams of past places, and but what was significant that I saw too is as you were looking through the window, you saw like the trees and the red soil and big solid like trunk trees, and then you saw like a radio tower, and it was almost like a communication thing. That I really felt like that throughout your life as well, that the Creator has communicated to you, and you picked it up, you perceived it, and you've had pieces and parts, aspects of purpose and destiny revealed to you, but you don't have the whole picture. And but I really want to encourage you to that I believe that you're on the right path to us, and that you're going to be surrounded by others that are going to help you reach that destiny. And it'll be like you'll be around like people that will work with you, that will have wisdom and have an ability to bring things into existence to help mankind.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you. Yeah, I've definitely had this connection throughout my life, with with the high forces and things like that. But I think so it's nice having reflected back the sort of not alone. I think the size of it, the amplification of the size of the tower was interesting too. It's like, oh, I was registering how big it is. That was interesting. And it's kind of, it's also like earth wisdom, yet also connected to not earth wisdom, because you get the trees of like earth wisdom and the indigenous wisdom that comes with the trees, because they actually call these particular ones birthing trees. But then there's the tower. It's like, connected to what's not here on earth as well.
I was going to ask you about that, because I was feeling like the trees have to do with ancient wisdom, foundational wisdom that is going back. And I feel like the reason why the tower is so big is that it's speaking to your ability to receive. To receive revelation and your ability to receive spiritual awareness.
Yeah.
Spirit wants to point it in the right direction for you, and he's fine-tuning the direction that you're receiving, because it's so large, and you're able to receive from so many different places. I believe that Spirit is very specific about the ways that he wants you to receive, or the ways, or more about the direction that your receiver's pointed it. It's like tuning into a frequency and you being able to get to the right frequency.
Yeah.
Christy, you're moving into a new place in your life. There are many facets at different levels as far as difficulties, design, simplicity, but you are familiar with where each one of those belong. And sometimes you see in full, and other times you just see in partial. You are resting and waiting in the garden of life and contemplating where it's going to take you. There are a few leadership opportunities for you, and growing into it hasn't been easy. Even though some of the other leaders may seem like they are established, there's still room for newness and new ideas. If you cultivate a healthier soil from the ground up, it can flourish and it can last. Your destiny of being a powerful leader with great communication skills is still available. So you haven't blown your purpose, but if you align yourself with like-minded people, with a like-minded team, you will get to where you need to go.
Good to hear. Thank you. And part of the ground I see is my body. I've noticed is the more that I'm open to, receiving and that it requires me to meet it. And it's like my relationship with my body and my relationship with others is part of that. So that's something that resonates with what you were saying. Thank you.
like to add on to I think I skipped that part. You know, like the big dish and the electric power. So I gotta tell at least I feel that you have a like there is a while you have it, but there's what we call it, almost untapped resource that I feel like that's still not being fully utilized. That you have the ability to receive a lot more information, a lot more revelation, but it's not fully utilized yet. You're not plugged in directly yet. So there's more if you want it.
Yeah. I should say, yeah, there wasn't a dish, but as I was saying, there wasn't a dish, but I still perceived the tower as communication.
Like also the back to the tower too, just that being amplified in your dream, catching your attention as being something very large, you know, and very tall. It just reveals too, because you know radio waves aren't seen by the natural eye, so it is speaking about a spiritual communication that's coming from a higher place, versus you know what you're seeing, like you shared, receiving from the earth as well, the wisdom that comes from ancient wisdom, but then also at the same time you are looking in your room through a large window in a higher place, so you're getting a vision of a higher vision of and communications coming to you regarding what you're destined to do, you know, to be a strong leader and one who has the wisdom and ability to build things and create things, produce things, birth things into existence.
Cool, thank you.
Power is part of that too. So you were saying that you are not sure in this particular dream or other dreams that you've had, whether you're the driver or the passenger.
Yeah, it's often or it keeps shifting during the dream, and so I can't pin it down. Or it's both at the same time. You know, it's dream logic in that sense. That's what it feels like. It's I'm definitely not one or the other. There's more to it. Yeah, so that's a recurring feeling.
Is that a recurring feeling in most of your dreams, or just this dream?
I think whenever there's been driving, which hasn't been for a while, I don't recall it being happening for a while, but whenever there has been driving, I think there's always been shifting. There's always been, yeah, it's never consistently just one role. Yeah.
I feel like that speaks to how you've been created and just a desire to cooperate with people and collaborate with people. So it's almost like there's going to be times where you're leading and there are other times that you're taking a step back and being, it's still a team. And there are times where you're cooperating or collaborating with the team and times where you're letting someone else take the lead. But there's also just this, and I feel like that's something that might be of value to you, just being able to work in collaboration with other people and that's part of your calling, I'm sensing, and your destiny, where you're headed right now in your life, where you're being shown that you're going to be heading in a direction where you're going to be doing more collaboration.
Yes, yeah, that resonates. I'm shifting all of my creative practice to be more of a partnership model. I was, never a lone creator, but overtly partnership from very early on. So yeah, but yes, in other ways too. Yeah, thank you.
Well, Christy, do you have any questions about any specific part of the dream?
I guess in the house then, in the apartment, the smallness of it. It didn't feel uncomfortable, as I said. I didn't feel, oh no, this is too small, or it didn't feel scary or anything. It was just, there was in part an excitement of, oh, a new place. You know, I always have excitement with it whenever I move, but it was like, oh yes, a new place. But I found it interesting that it was sort of, you know, this connected to this, connected to this, connected to this, you know, just very little compartmentalized, but not yeah, I guess it's just there was lots to it. You know, it wasn't big and wide and clear. There was actually lots to it. Yeah, it wasn't straightforward. I think those are some words that I would use. Yeah.
So when you said Escher-like, you mean like the drawings of Escher, or like there's like, I don't know, bridges?
Yeah,
the one like all sorts of direction. People are walking up sideways and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like, oh, it wasn't, you know, sort of the bits going down and bits going up, and you know, a wall wasn't just a wall. It would have little, you know, a cube bit here and a cube bit there, but this was all in quite a small space. But yeah, as I said, it wasn't a straightforward rooms.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When you say that, and this might be because I'm influenced by what I know about you, but it reminds me of a scene or a game, you know, where there's different paths you could go, and sometimes there's blocks, or I don't know, I think I had that picture in my head, and it could be because I know that you create games, but that could have to do with the game creativity that you're encountering, and the creativity that's been put inside you. I also mentioned before just that your influence is changing. And so there's gonna be different creative opportunities within your influence. And it's gonna look different, but it's gonna be deeper. It might be a little bit tighter, a tighter group, a smaller group, but you're gonna be able to go deeper. And I think it's gonna allow more creativity for you and different ways of thinking that you haven't thought about before.
Yeah. Yeah, and that connects back to what you said before about deeper, not broader, and that was something that stuck out. It's like, oh yes, you know, it's not about more people, you know, sort of connecting to what I'm saying or doing or whatever, but you know, there's something else there in terms of the collaborations and the connections. And it's interesting that it's had an overlap with the house and creative practice, because I don't. It's interesting, my language, because I don't make straightforward projects. They may come across that way, but they're definitely not straightforward. And so, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to add that it's like your life, how you are, how you're created. You're like, from the outside, the apartment doesn't look like big, but once you're inside, because the way it's designed, it's like bigger on the inside than the outside. It's the way it's designed, the way like it defies gravity and everything. It's supernatural on the inside. So you people may not know this, but you have a gift, and it's like supernatural. It's in you, and in a very small, tight package. And you know, it's not visible from the outside, but on the inside, there's a creativity, there's a flow that's not natural. It's supernatural, right? So there's something about that, and that you have a very creative process that may not, maybe people can't understand because it's very different.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And maybe just to add on to that, that you could see that it could be bigger. It doesn't have to be that small of a room. There's more. There's even more.
Ooh, yes.
You know, actually, that reminds me. Escher, like his art is based on math, right? On a formula how to make things smaller. And I think someone actually solved the equation, and there's like a Photoshop plugin that you can make the stuff with. So, anyways, so it is a combination of both like what do you call it? Science and art. You know, he was a mathematician plus he was an artist, right? It's a creative and like I don't know, like so there's like two parts of your left and right brain are working together to make stuff. So you have a very center brain that you have access to both, the science and the arts.
Do you have any feedback for us? You've given, yeah, I appreciate the feedback you've given already, but if there's any feedback you
As
want
we're
to
going, yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was nice. It was lovely to have some things confirmed. It's like, oh yeah, it's like it's not just what I suspect. It's a thing, and some thoughts that help me navigate moving forward. Some guiding lights there, like deep, not necessarily broad, and continue on with working with others and the opportunities that happen there, as well as there's other things to be received. Attending more to the channel that I connect to. Yeah, so those are some of the things, but yeah, a lot of it stood out. Thank you.
Thank you.
With this dream that we're analyzing in this session, it is in part influenced by some trees that I have seen that have been in the news here in Australia. The trees of the Djap Wurrung people, because there is a local government who want to put a highway through all of these trees, and you know, there's one of them is 800 years old. There is the beauty and the age of this nature, but it's also for the caretakers of that area. Those trees are sacred trees. They have actually said that it's their equivalent of the Notre Dame Cathedral. And among one of the many functions of the trees for these people is that they are birthing trees. They've said that there's been 50 generations of births in some of these trees, which is a beautiful thing, a beautiful connection, and a highway is no reason to take them all down. So that was in part, you know, why those trees are in my consciousness to draw on for my dream. But it's also why I say it as well, because these are symbolic of important Indigenous knowledge here, and I just want to be another voice that recognizes the sacredness of these, and to join the work in trying to stop them being torn down. And in fact, I think my you know, the fact that I dreamt of them is in part a prompt to do the work. You know, I've been called to be a part of that in some way. But yeah, that's some stuff about dreams for me. Thank you.
I do want to talk about the plant in the back. I don't know if this should be now or later.
Yeah, whenever you want to.
All right, cool. So, Chrissy, I noticed that I feel like I'm drawn to this plant behind you. There's a bamboo, maybe 4 prongs going up, and I feel like this has really that it just says something about you. It's like I feel like it represents you. It's like bamboo is a grass, but you know it's not a tree. It seems like even that small confinement, it's flourishing. It's so strong. So like it's saying that no matter what wherever you're placed in, you will thrive in any kind of environment. You know, even in a pot, in a pot that it's doing so well. It just says that, and I think something about you and conscience and about the honesty you have, and that is your strength, maybe your core strength, and that So anyways, I want to bless you in that area. That's all. I just saw that like it represented you, growth.
Thank you. It's interesting. My relationship with that plant has changed. At first, I was like, "Oh, it's flourishing. It's great. It's all happening." And then there was one of them that started to go yellow, and just continuously yellow. And so I thought, "Oh," and I just waited and I changed the way I watered it, but it just kept yellow. And I thought, "Okay, it's that means it's gone, it's dead, and I don't want the others to be infected or whatever it is, affected by it." And so I just took out that one and threw it away, and then a while after that, another one in a different part started to go yellow, and I thought, okay, something's happened. I can't just throw it away. So then I actually spent time with it, cut the yellow part, washed it, and now I'm nursing it in water. And so it's like, oh no, don't just throw it away. And so from that, I've been learning from the plant, that there's parts of me that flourish and there's parts that don't, and how I treat them is important, and that some things I can let go, but perhaps I actually need to heal them and repair them rather than dispel them.
Yes.
Yeah, also like to add how bamboo, I forgot to mention this, bamboo is like it in the wind, right? It doesn't break because it bends. So it talks about your flexibility to be able to when you're weathered, you're able to be flexible and not break. But yes, at the same time, if you treat it right, it can be like really stiff, So
Yes.
it's both hard and soft at the same time. It's a hard, soft material.
Yeah. Yes. Nice observation. Thank you.
Hold on, I got one more. I just saw something. Okay, so I feel like you are like a prism, and that you are able to convert white light, where people see white light, you're able to see the seven colors, and that like the bookcase behind you as light enters, and not everyone can see that, but you're able to see it, and not only see it, but manage it and manifest in something else. So I bless you in that area again, that you're able to see where some people can't see, but you're able to differentiate and again change the world around you and beautify color, make it colorful, and so more of that in your life.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your gifts with me. They are more than welcome, and I feel well watered.
Thank you, Christy.
For allowing us.
Bye.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.